Go to 2 Kings with me. Who's back there? Kevin's back there. 2 Kings chapter 4. Just don't be mad at us, okay? Because we're still doing it whether you're mad or not. We'd rather you not be mad. Chapter 4, verse 8, Brother Kevin. We'll start there. I have through 36 down, but I'm not going to read all that. I'm not even going to read this yet. I just wanted to let you know where I'm going, okay? I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about our church and the things that are going on in our church. We've been very blessed. God has given us immense blessings. God has blessed us coming and going, up and down, forwards and backwards. On the land out north of town, the 32 acres out north of town. Let me just tell you where we're at. We're working with CBS, which is the original company that we were working with. It just fell into place. I could not get anything going with anybody else. And God shut every one of those doors, but opened this one. So I'm walking through the one that got opened. I'm going to quit trying to hammer on doors and walk through the one that got opened. It's going to cost us a little bit of money to work with them. $14,000 to start the project. We already have $12,000 that we've already invested with them. We don't get that $12,000 back until we start actually building, because here's the reason why. If they give us our $12,000 on our plans, then we can take our plans and go somewhere else, and they're out all that money. And so, not that they would do that, we would never do that, but they are protecting themselves, and I understand that. I understand it completely. Just talking with them, they are the best. They are the best for us. I believe it with all my heart. I don't know what I've told you, what I haven't told you. What I know is the state fire marshal is 5 months behind as we speak, but God has a way of speeding that up. So he said, what's the state fire marshal have to do with anything? We have to run everything through state fire marshal because we're out of town. And so we don't do anything in town. We have to do everything out of town. And everything through state. So everything has to go through them. And I know somebody knows somebody who said, I don't have to do that. Listen, we're doing it the right way, and we're not doing it the redneck, Okie way. Okay, we're doing it the right way. And so we're going to do it the right way. We're not tearing somebody's barn down and using the materials. I'm just letting you know. Okay, unless we're building a memory wall, we might do it with that. But we're not doing that. We're doing it the right way, or we're not doing it.
Amen.
We're going to do it God's way, or we're not doing it. We're going to do it with integrity, or we're not doing it. It's going to be the correct way of doing things. Amen? Amen. I don't like quote-unquote Christians who do things and cut corners and try to scheme and try to plan and try to, I don't like that mess. Amen. Well, I'm trying to save you money. No, you're being deceitful. Okay, so I don't like it, and we're going to do it the right way. Can somebody say the right way? Thank you. I've been trying to get this place ready for a while to handle more than we ever thought God would give us. For 7 years, I have preached and begged and pleaded and screamed and sweat and cried and snotted and spit and did everything I could to get us to open our hearts and receive other people. Hi, David. Okay, and so to open our hearts and receive other people. Receive people that aren't of our family. Of not our, well, how can I say this? They're not TOPers. They never have been here. Their family didn't go to church here. Their cousins and Pookie and them didn't go to church here. Nobody that we know are from them with the church here. But I've done everything I can to get you to open your heart and let people come in to this church and know who they are. Amen? Amen. Spend some time with them. Yes. Get to know them. I even set up some groups for that. Yes. I have one group that's very good. I have two groups that are going to have to be either resuscitated or buried.
Right.
Can I be honest? This is my life. guys know each other. I think you like each other. Isn't that a novel thing in church to like each other? But I've examined myself and I find myself lacking in some areas that I've got to do a better job of preparing our church for the oncoming explosion of things that God's doing in our life. You say, well, what's God going to do? Listen, I don't know, a lot of you guys don't know everything that God has done, but God gave us 8.5 acres. And then God gave us 32.5 acres for $90,000 and a $300,000 slab of cement still for nothing. And so God is moving in our direction on our behalf. This church has more money than it's ever had in its existence. God has blessed us beyond measure. We wrote a $90,000 check for our property and never missed a beat. Didn't even hurt to write it because God has blessed us. But here's where we're lacking. I don't see my altars full of people. I don't see the altars of God full of people crying out to God and seeking His face and thanking Him for what He's done. And so I'm not getting on to you, I'm just preaching. Okay? Get with me. I don't see the altar full of people who are thankful for what God's done. We just expect it. And that's good. I want you to expect God to bless you. But I want you to understand this, that God has a way of expecting some gratitude when He's done some things in your life. Amen. God has blessed us beyond measure. God has given us a blessing beyond measure. Every time I turn around, God's doing something else and something else and something else. It seems like God has just opened up a spout of blessing and said, here you go. And it's trying to, it's kind of like drinking out of a 4-inch water hose. You're drowning instead of drinking. Most of us here, we're excited about living in blessing, and most don't know how to live really in blessing, because when God begins to bless you, we forget about God. When God begins to bless our church, sometimes our church forgets about God. We forget about prayer. We forget about being thankful. We forget about things. We forget about God moving and God touching our lives. We forget about the good things that God's done. Most think that God just simply picks out somebody and blesses them. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. There are some reasons why some are blessed and some are not. And go ahead and put up 2 Kings 4 and 8, if you will, for me, please. Thank you. That happened on one day that Elisha went to Shunem. But there's a notable woman, and she pursued him to eat some food. So it was, as often as he passed by, he would turn in there and eat some food. Keep going. And she said to her husband, look now, that this is a holy man of God who passes us regularly. Please let us put a small upper room in the wall, and let us put a bed for him there, a table, a chair, and a lampstand, so that whenever he comes to us, he turn in there. And it happened one day that he came there and he turned in to the upper room and he lay down there. And lay down. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, call the Shunammite woman. When he had called her, she stood before him. Keep going. And he said to him, say now to her, look, you've been concerned for us with all this care. What can I do for you? Do you want me to speak on your behalf to the king or to the commander of the army? And she answered, I dwell among my own people. So he said, what then? 14. What then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, actually, she has no son, and her husband is old. And so he said, call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the doorway. Then he said, about this time next year, you will embrace a son. And she said, no, my lord, man of God, do not lie to your maidservant. We're almost done. Y'all be all right. But the woman conceived and bore a son, and when she had appointed time, she had come, of which Elisha had told her. The child grew. Now it happened one day that went out to their father to the reapers. He said to his father, my head, so instead of carrying him to his mother. We're almost done. When he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he set her on his knees till noon, and he died. Listen, how many know the story of the Shunammite woman? We all know the story, right? If you've been in church longer than a day and a half, you know about the Shunammite woman. What happened that she was blessed? God didn't just pick her out and bless her. What did she do? She blessed somebody else. Are you with me? What did she went to her husband and said, husband, this guy that keeps coming by here is a man of God. Can we do something for him and bless him? Can we bless this man of God? Because let me just share something with you. Not everybody that you know is a man or woman of God, but they are still created in the image of God. And just because that they don't know God like you know God, doesn't mean that God hates them. And just because they don't attend church with you, doesn't mean that God has thrown them away. And just because you don't like them, doesn't mean God doesn't like them. And just because you don't agree with them, doesn't mean that they've lost everything and God can't help them. Can I just share a couple of things with you? Is this. Number one, God's kids, I'm a child of the King. I am a son of God. I'm not the son, but a son. I am blessed beyond measure because of him. And if I will take my blessing and bless somebody else, God will see God will see that I'm blessing somebody else. And what he has given me, I'm not going to hoard up and take and just hold up. And so, church, can I share something with you? This church has been blessed beyond measure. Don't you think you ought to tell somebody and help somebody along the way? Don't you think that you ought to take what God has given you and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bless somebody else. Amen. I'm blessing somebody else. Amen. You know, a good way to stop being blessed is quit blessing people. You hoard up all that stuff, God will say, done. You keep your hand closed, you'll never get anything in it. Amen. Let me share another thing listen to me, please. I know a lot of people think that the church is just supposed to just be the church, and you come to church and you leave church, you come to church and leave church. That to me is not church. Right. Church to me is being involved in every aspect of this community. That is church to me. The church is not simply a building that we come and meet together and we tell each other how great we are and how blessed and how highly favored we are of God, and somebody preaches to us something that we've heard and we sing the same songs. That's not church to me. Church to me is a place I come and I worship God. I worship God whether you're here, whether you're not here. I worship God whether my best friend's here, my best friend's not here. I come and worship him and I thank him for what he's done in my life. I give him honor and I bless him, and I come and I get inspired by the Word of God and I lean in. I want to hear the Word of God. I want to lean in and hear what somebody has to say about the Word of God. I lean in and I glean. I lean and I glean. I want to hear what God's Word has to say in my life. I want God to speak to me. I want God to touch my life. I want God to move in my life. I don't sit in church with a critical ear and say, oh, I want to preach it like that. Nobody asks you. Nobody, listen, you're not the one preaching, so get over yourself. You're not the one singing, so get over yourself. You're not the one, so what you have to do is this. You have to say this. I'm going to lean and I'm going to glean. I'm going to learn something today from God. That's what church is to me. Church is not simply coming in and leaving the same way, week after week, month after month, year after year, never growing, never changing, never discipling anybody, never doing anything, and just coming in and coming out, coming in, coming out. That's not church. That's not what church is supposed to be about. Yeah. Church is supposed to be about changing your life. Well, I can tell y'all are really fired up tonight, man. Listen. God is no respecter of person, Acts chapter 10, verse 24. But sometimes it seems like it is, like he is, doesn't it? Yeah. Sometimes it seems like God's a respecter of person. Acts 10, 24, can't throw it up there for me. I want to make sure they know that it actually says this. Thank you. The following day, that's not this. This is when he's 10:34. Thank you. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, I love it, he said, open his mouth. How else would he say it? In truth, I perceive that God shows no partiality. Or, in the King James, God is no respecter of persons. God does not respect you because you're David. God does not respect me because I'm Jeff. God, listen, it doesn't matter. Listen, God is no respecter of person. He'll do it for me. He'll do it for you. Amen. He'll do it for the least of these. He'll do it for the greatest of these. He'll do it for the greatest. He'll do it for the least. Listen, there has to be a reason why some never seem to get over the hump, if you will. I'm going to try to teach this church how to live in God's blessing. I'm going to do my very best. How we treat God's people affects the blessing of God on our lives. Do you understand that you go to church with some people that you haven't talked to in a while because you don't like them, and you think God really looks at you and goes, I'm proud? Boy, it gets quiet. Everybody looks down. You think God really, that makes God's heart swell with pride? No. When you had your own children and they were fighting, how did it make you feel? Knock the top half of both your heads off, right? Yeah, right. You're going to sit here and hold hands so you guys like each other. I know I was abusive out here. That's okay. Made them hold hands and everything. Listen, you cannot treat God's people like they're not important. I expect God to bless you. You know, there's people out there right now that are floundering. They once were on fire for God. Now you haven't seen them in about a month, maybe 2. But they reap what they sow. The Lord rebuke you. We're supposed to be the hands and the feet of God. Amen. We're supposed to go reach people. You know, I dare say there's people in this church that have gone to church here for over a year, and some of you still don't even know their name. That is sad. Amen. They know their name. It's sad to me. How can somebody come to church with you for over a year and you don't know their name? How is that even possible? How do you not make an effort to say, hey, I have been meaning to come say hi to you. I'm very sorry. I'm Pastor Jeff, and I'm so glad you're here to hear this. Boy, that was difficult. That was difficult, wasn't it? Hey, I am so sorry I put this on. I'm just, I don't know why I haven't said anything to you, but I'm Pastor Jeff. What's your name? I know that. I should have known that. Man, it's amazing. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. Are you still Les Conkling's granddaughter? Wow, that's amazing. How about you? Are you still Latricia's granddaughter? That is so cool. How can we not do that and build a relationship with you? I'm sorry. Aren't you Norma? No, I'm Jeff. Nice to meet you. Glad to have you here. Aren't you Bruce? Are you Bruce from Florida? You were in Florida for a while, weren't you? Back in the day? And then, weren't you in Lawton for a while? Yeah, I know Bruce. Yeah, it's your brother, right? I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just messing with you. I'm just kidding. I know. But I'm saying that I'm just meeting you for the first time. So, okay. He does. Hey, aren't you? Yeah, the Crosswells. Hey, don't y'all live in Earlsboro? Or that there? Well, how tough is that? That's not hard at all, is it? That's not hard. But it's hard when you're like, remember that? Did you see that? Do I have to actually talk to them? No, you don't have to. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go find some place where somebody will talk to them. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what you have to offer. If they don't feel like they belong, they're not going to be here. They're not going to be in the house of God. They're going to be somewhere else. And they'll say, well, if I don't even fit in the house of God, where do I fit? And I promise you there's a bar somewhere with a glass and a stool. And people will say, hey, nice to meet you. There's something, I promise you. I promise you there's a bar somewhere with a stool empty right now with their name on it. If they want to go. We got quiet.
Amen.
True.
I'm sorry if I tell the truth.
True.
How in the world? I'll be glad when summer's over, so we have our normal people back, but not normal, but our normal numbers back. Our normal numbers back. It's been amazing. I mean, we've never hit a summer swoon like we have this year. It's been crazy. There's been at least two families gone every Sunday for all summer long. It's been nuts. But when they come back, and everybody's in the house together, I'm just going to challenge you to go to somebody you've never met before and say, hey, I've been meaning to come and talk to you. And introduce yourself. I promise they probably know your name. Hey, I just want to tell you, I'm so glad you can come. I'm glad you come. Good to see you. Thank you for bringing your family. Because the way you treat God's people affects the blessing in your life.
Amen.
If you throw your nose up at God's people, God may throw his nose up at you. If you want the things of God, then you have to bless what God blesses. You have to bless what he does. Listen, you can't treat people like they don't matter, like they're not as important as your family. See, what a lot of Pentecostal people don't understand, it's not just about your four no more. It's about everybody, and they have families too.
Amen.
It's not just about your four no more. It's about everybody has some things, and sometimes your family has to be put on the back burner. I'm sorry to tell you that, but sometimes your family that everything's going okay with, and this family is going through chaos. Sometimes you may have to put your family and say, listen guys, we're going to go help them. I know that's crazy talk. That's like being a church. It's crazy. They go and say, we're going to go help them. We're going to go bless them. We're going to go do something for them. We're going to go help this family that we don't even know. We're going to go bless them. Because I want God's blessing on this place. And God's blessing will come on this place if we treat other people like they don't matter and like it's all about us. Listen, they're not like we don't treat them like they're not worthy of our time. They're not worthy of our prayer. They're not worthy of our fasting. They're not worthy of this church. Who do they think they are? Can I share something with you? I've spent my entire life in this church. And there is a, how can I say it? A way about this church. You know you come to real church tonight. You thought you come to Wednesday, right? There's always been a way about this church. That some people are important and some people aren't. And you can tell me if I'm, don't tell me I'm lying, because I know I lived it. I have lived it. I'm not saying we're not compassionate, because we are very compassionate. When there's a funeral, there's something going on, very compassionate, very giving, very. But I'm talking about the day-to-day living life together, letting people in. Letting people in. So tell the church there's like visitors here and stuff. It's okay? Okay. We have a struggle with letting people in. And I don't know why that is. I'm not criticizing you. Listen, I grew up here too. I know why. Of letting people feel like they're part of the family.
Yes. Yes.
Letting people know that we love them as much as we love them. Caring for them just as we cared for everybody else. Being fair in our care. Does that make sense? Letting people know that they are just as important as the pillar church members' family. Just as important as the Nances, the Houps, the Smithies, the Welches, those pillars and Winkleplex. The people who are the number one roll members in the roll book. Those families are still prevalent here. But we need to make sure that the York family understands that they're just as important as the Nance family.
Amen.
Because they are still God's kids, regardless of last name. It's okay if I use it? Okay. All right. So they are, but there's been a way about us that sometimes that's not always been the case. People will leave and it's, can I just be honest? Come on, guys. Y'all looking at me like I'm beating you. I'm not trying to beat you. I'm just trying to be honest with you. Listen, some people will leave and never get a, hey, be back. And we deem them not important.
Right.
But their soul is just as important as a pillar member soul.
Right.
I wonder why it is sometimes we go through things in our own families. I wonder if it possibly could be because we've allowed other families to go through the same thing and turned a blind eye, or not ever knelt a knee, or not ever fasted a meal, and said, you know what, God, I'm going to fast for them. Because if I can get their need met, I know you can meet my need. Come on, come on. Sometimes you gotta listen. We must treat people like they are God's children, and that God cares for them as much as He cares for us. The Shunammite woman prepared a place for a man to stay. She's prepared for a servant that she didn't even know. She didn't know him. She didn't know anything about him other than, I perceive this is a man of God. She didn't go get his name. She didn't run and say, hey, Gehazi, what's his name? She went to her husband and said, husband, this guy has something on him. You guys okay? Right. This guy has something on him. God was going to bless her no matter what she said she needed in 2 Kings 4:14. Go back to that. Second Kings 4:14. I usually have my phone, so I'm usually quicker than that, but I left my phone in the office. There we go. 2 Kings 4:14. Thank you. So he said, what then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, actually, she has no son, and her husband is old. Elisha said, what does she need? I'm going to pray, and God's going to give her whatever it is that she wants. What is it that you're praying for that you're afraid to ask for? Sunday morning I told you the story about the bike.
Right.
For those who weren't here, I'm going to repeat it because I like it. Sunday morning I told the story of, it's not my story, it's another evangelist's story. But I'm going to swipe it for purposes of right now. He grew up an evangelist's son. That's back in the day when evangelists didn't make $500 a service, they made $500 a month. And so they lived in an RV. They were pulling a 78 Pinto that was 3 different colors. And he told his dad when he was 8 years old, Dad, I want a bike. I'm making this really short. His dad said, son, we don't have money for a bike. He said, but but if you'll pray, God will give you the desire of your heart. I said, okay. So they sit down and discuss what kind of bike he wanted. He wanted an orange bike with a banana seat and high handlebars. This is in the 70s, as you can tell. That's what he wanted. His dad got $10 and went to a man in the town the next town they went to and found an old guy that put old bikes back together. He made him a bike for $10. And he said, son, come here, I got something for you. He said, I've got your bike. And the boy said, that's not my bike. And his dad said, that is your bike, and you're going to ride that bike, and you're going to be happy about that bike. This is your bike. Dad, that's not my bike. So maybe his dad, man, he's stuck it on the tow bar of the Pinto. They're driving so he can teach him how to ride the bike. The tow bar falls down. The bike goes underneath the car, runs over the bike. Now the handlebars are crooked and the wheels are crooked. And his dad's trying to straighten them out. And the little boy's saying, Dad, that's not my bike. But his dad made him ride it anyway. Goes on, they go to the next town or two, whatever, how many months it was. And there's a knock on the door just before service of the RV, and the guy says, hey, I've got something I want to give you. And he said, that's church time. I got to go. He said, no, it's just around the corner. I just live around the corner. So he goes around the corner. And the guy said, my dad owned a Western Auto store, and they closed it, and he sold everything in it, but there's one thing left, and it's this bike. I don't know if your son wants a bike or not. And when he rolled out the bike, it was orange, had banana seat, had high handlebars, and the kid started screaming, that's my bike! That's my bike! Let me ask you this. What is it you want but you're afraid to pray for? Because you're afraid you're going to be disappointed. And you're afraid that God's not going to do it for you. What is it you're afraid of to ask for? What is it you're afraid to step out on faith and believe for? What is it that God has promised you and you've gotten so used to riding the other thing that now has become your bike and it's not really your bike? What is it that you're afraid? Is your marriage so jacked up that now you're saying, well, I'm just used to it now? Or is it, that's not the marriage that God promised to me?
Right.
Come on, help me preach a little bit today. But the blessing comes when you start blessing other people. That man gave that little boy a bike that God had put. Listen, you just think about this for a second. God had somebody make that bike. God had somebody ship it to a Western Auto store. Somebody had Western Auto go out of business. Western Auto went out of business. They sold everything. They sold everything but this orange bike. That's not by accident. They sold everything but an orange bike with high handlebars and a banana seat. I can see why they didn't sell it. But listen, still yet, God had somebody have that in their store that they wouldn't sell because an 8-year-old boy said, Dad, I want an orange bike with banana seat and high handlebars.
Come on.
What is it you're afraid to ask for? And that man who blessed that little boy, can you imagine the blessing that God gave them?
Yeah.
Listen, if you'll bless people, God will bless you. But if you will not bless people, God will not bless you.
Right.
You've got to bless people. You've got to let people know that you care about them and love them. And what can I do for them? And how can I help you? Is there anything that we can do for you? Listen, we do a lot of stuff around here. We feed half this county. We do everything that we can do to help people and clothe people and everything that we can possibly do. I don't know what else we can do right now, just people-wise, that we have people that handle it, to do anything else to help provide stuff for people. I don't know, but I do know this, that if we don't continue to do that, 32 acres won't come open for us. 8.5 acres won't be given to us. Another 4 city blocks won't be given to us. A property across the street won't be given to us. We own a city block. We own about 50 acres altogether, and debt-free. We don't owe anybody for any of it. That stops if we don't continue to bless God's people.
Amen.
We've got to continue to bless God's people. Yeah, I don't want to get all involved about money and all about stuff, but I want to tell you that is how God shows outwardly some things. The Shunammite woman was going to get what she was afraid to ask for. She didn't have a son, but she was afraid to ask for a son. How do I know that? Because when the prophet of God said, you're going to have a son, she said, don't lie to me. Don't tell me what's not true. I didn't ask you for anything, so don't give me something. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me about what God's going to do for me. Sometimes I feel like that when I'm preaching, that when I say things like, God will bless you, and what is it you're afraid to ask for, and what is it that you need from God? Sometimes I feel like when I'm preaching that, some of you look at me like, God just bless his heart. Help him, Jesus. He just hasn't lived long enough to know that you don't always do. Listen. Listen. I've lived a long time. I've been around the block at least twice. Okay? I've been beat up, knocked down, thrown around. I get it. Been mugged in the alley. I got it. Okay? I've lived enough life to know what God will and what God will not do. God will not bless me if I refuse to be a blessing. God will bless me when I am a blessing. I know that by experience. Can you stand to be blessed? In 2 Kings 4, 18 through 21. I'm almost done. 2 Kings 4, 18 through 21. Boy, y'all quiet in this house tonight. I'm either on target or real boring. I don't know which one it is. Okay. And the child grew. Now it happened one day that when he went out to his fathers to the reapers, he said to his father, my head. So she had the servant carry him to his mother. When he had taken him brought her to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and died. Keep going. This is the last one. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God and shut the door upon him and went out. Listen. Can you stand to be blessed?
Amen.
Oh, come on now. What happens when it doesn't happen the way you want it to happen? Well, I knew God wouldn't do it. Do you give up on God as soon as the blessing goes away? Do you give up on God as soon as the money's spent? Do you give up on God because now you made it through that month, but God, how are we going to make it through this month? The same way you made it through last month. Some of you think you need a new car. No, you need an oil change. Some of you think you need a financial blessing. No, you need to learn how to tithe. You learn how to be givers. Some of you think that God's just forgotten about you. That's not true. God hasn't forgotten about you. God will bless you. And my God, church, listen, we've got to learn how to bless God's people.
Amen.
And love them. And mean it. And mean it. Don't do it so somebody can say, look what Billy did. He's already got your reward. But do it because you mean it. Do it because you love people. Do it because you care about people. Do it because you want to be a blessing and not just a distraction. I'm about done, so y'all quit squirming. Listen, just because you're blessed doesn't mean you're not going to go through something.
That's right.
I think we get a false sense of security and believe that just because we're blessed, nothing bad's ever on the horizon. That's not true. That's not true. I'm blessed through the storm. I'm blessed through the horizon. I'm blessed though everything else seems to be falling apart. What did I tell you the other day? A broken heart and raised hands goes a lot further than a broken heart and a Facebook post.
Amen.
I think I was talking about prayer.
Right.
Don't tell me you have a prayer life that the first time something bad happens, you run to Facebook instead of run to God.
Right.
I got to tell everybody, honey, stop. Stop. Please stop. And then keep looking back to see how many likes you got. Listen, guys. Run to God. Don't run to Instagram, Facebook. Run to God. Listen, I don't care later if you post what happened in your... That's between you and your fingers. I don't care. Okay? But your immediate response should not be, I got to run post something on Facebook. That should not be your immediate response. Your immediate response should be, God, I need help.
Right.
I need you right now. Father, I got to have an answer. And sometimes He doesn't give answers immediately. God, I got to know, I got to have peace in my heart. I got to know what's going on in my life. Boy, y'all quiet in this house today. Listen. Just because you're blessed doesn't mean you're not going to go through something. Sometimes you get blessed with something you didn't ask for. She didn't ask for a son, but she got it anyway. She didn't ask for the blessing to die, but it did anyway. Her reaction is what gets me every time. And she didn't go and say, oh, let's dig a hole, I'll put my son in it. No, she went and put the boy on the prophet's bed. Why have you given this to me only to take it away, God? Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like God gave you something and it was taken away from you? It doesn't seem fair? Help me!
Yes.
Thank you. What is our reaction to God when things aren't going right? Is it quit church?
No.
For some folks it is. For some folks their immediate reaction is, well, I'm going to quit going. That's pretty dumb. But people do it. Where am I going to go? It doesn't have the answer. Listen, and please don't be upset with me. I get it. I understand the hurt and the anger and I get it. I mean, guys, listen to me. You're not talking to some cat that's never been through something, okay? I've been through death. I've been through struggles. I've been through relationship breakups. I've been through some stuff that you go, God, I don't understand anything you're doing. And it's easy to be hurt and roll up in a ball and go home and take your jacks and your ball and say, I'm going home, I ain't playing no more. It's easy to do that. It's hard to come to church when your heart's broken. It's hard to come to church and praise when you don't feel like praising. It's hard to pray when you just want to scream. Sisters and brothers, listen to me. I know what it's like to be hurt and have to pray your way through it, man. I get it, man.
Amen.
I get it. Don't ever stop. When you stop, the devil can catch you. Don't stop. Keep walking. In church, can I help you just a minute? That's where we come in, and when somebody hadn't been here in 2 weeks, we don't go, well, I guess they quit, or don't even know they're gone. And we can go and say, hey, have you seen them? You heard anything about them? They didn't post anything. Have you heard from them? Do you know what's going on with them? No, I don't know. Well, how about we go find out? See what's going on. See what's going on in their life. I'm not doing that. I know. That's your job, Jeff. Oh, is it now? That's my job, right? Okay.
It's our job.
Everybody's job. They're supposed to be part of our family, correct?
Right.
I'm just asking. Maybe I'm wrong. Listen. How we treat people affects our blessings from God. What's your reaction to God when things aren't going right? Are we vexed more than other people in this world? Or, God, you hate me worse than anybody? No, that's not true. Do we have an attitude that God has blessed us? Look at everything God has done for us and say, you know what, God? I don't know what you're doing. But you're still God. I don't know where you're taking me, but I'm coming for the ride. Can I tell you when I really got God is when I finally said, God, I don't know where you're taking me, but I'm just going to go. I don't know about this journey. I'm just going to go with you. I don't know how far you're going to take me, but I'm just going to go as far as you'll take me. When I finally got it, when I finally understood that it wasn't just about shouting and running, it wasn't just about music ministry, it wasn't just about stuff, but it was my relationship with Him and hanging on to Him no matter where He took me. I just followed. That's when I finally got it. When I finally got that, you can't talk me out of it. I'm going to follow Him no matter what. I'm going to use this as an example. I'm not Mr. Wonderful, but the day my dad died was really an awful day for me. I was working, what a shock, when he passed away. I got a phone call from my wife, and your dad's gone. I was like, what? My dad's what? Your dad's gone. They were doing CPR, and we told him to stop. Okay. I drove into my driveway and didn't know what else to do. So I called my cousin and I said, my dad just died. I couldn't wrap my head around that. Couldn't wrap my head around it. But I still had to be Pastor Jeff because I still had I had a job to do. I still had to take care of my family. I still had to take care of the church. I still had to do all those things that I was called to do. I did my dad's funeral. Went through that. It was tough. I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing things. And I wasn't Bob's son, I was Pastor Jeff. And I actually remember, I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember some about it. I remember thinking to myself, I don't understand. I don't understand. This guy's never been sick a day in his life. It's one thing, it's gone. I could have said, God, that's not fair. I could have said, God, I'm done. But where am I going to go? Where am I going? We had other people. We had people that blessed us, and I appreciate that. We had people that take care of us, and I appreciate that. I don't know how people make it with a church family. I don't get it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. And so we were blessed in that, in those things. But I said all that to say this. How we treat people in their times of sorrow matters to God. How we treat people in their times of celebration matters to God. Are you jealous because they got blessed? I'm not. I'm excited for you. Because I know that God, if He'll do it for you, He'll do it for me. I know that if God will bless you with a new car, He'll bless me with one. I know that if God will bless you and your family and your loved one get saved, then I got some loved ones going to get saved. See, I don't want to make this all about your stuff, but can I share this with you? This church is really good. We've got a bunch of stuff right now, but I'm really worried about our spiritual strength. Call a prayer meeting and 3 people show up. 4 people, 5 letters, 4 or 5 letters. Janice, Mark, Doris, Doug, Stephanie, Joseph, and me. 7. With the power of God. Is it okay if I just... Okay. Listen. I just have this much left. Is that okay? Okay. I'll leave you alone.
Just preach, Jim.
I am. Listen. How this church and this leadership live before God affects how the people that we're in covenant with are blessed. What do I mean by that? How this church and its leadership live before God, it affects how the people that we're in covenant with are blessed. You can't have corrupt leadership and blessing. What do you mean by corrupt? Phony, churchy, cliquey, nonsensy, silly, crazy, set in your ways, not willing to change. Well, that's good. We can't have a sinful lifestyle and be blessed of God. What do you mean by that, Brother Jeff? Does that mean that God's never blessed anybody in sin? I didn't say that. I said a sinful lifestyle is not a blessing from God. And what I mean by that is this. Not everything that people have is a blessing from God. Just because Billy has a lot of money doesn't mean Billy's more blessed than me. He may have a lot of money with a lot of sorrows. Money is just a tool.
Amen.
That's all it is. Would you rather have salvation, a peace of mind, and have joy unspeakable, full of glory? I would rather have that. I'm not a poor guy, but I'm not a rich one either. I'm not. But understand, a sinful lifestyle will drag you down to a place to where blessing is not able to come into your life. God wants some stuff in our church to be stopped. If it costs me every friend I have to confront it. I don't want to confront it, but I have to confront it. This is my bike. And no, I'm not giving you a ride. This is my bike. This isn't Brother Turner's bike. This is my bike.
Amen.
Brother Turner's bike has one of the big wheels in the front. There's just some stuff we want to stop. We have to correct some things in our leadership and also in our congregation. Doesn't mean we have to be mean and hateful. I will never be mean and hateful to you. You know that. Never. We can't effectively minister to a city without the blessings of God, without His favor. And church, can I share something with you? I'd rather have His favor than your friendship. I want His favor. I love Him. I love Him. See, you don't know, you know little tidbits of my life, but you don't know what God did. You don't know what God's delivered me from. You don't know. See, there's some things that He delivered me out of. And there's some things He delivered me from. What do you mean? Here's what I mean. My family, my mother's family, was a bunch of bar owners, drinkers, fighters, anything you can think of. Bootleggers. I'm not really sure, but I'm sure. I think I had a couple uncles, killed a couple people, but I don't know for sure. They're dead now too, so it doesn't matter. But my mother lived for God all my life. She's the only one of 6 kids that ever lived for God. She's the only one that the Assembly of God would take a church van out to the middle of a prune field and go pick up a dirty little kid and take her to church. She didn't have money to give. She didn't have anything of value that anybody would say, yeah, we need to pick up those kids because, man, they're affluent in their community. She lives in a prune patch, picking prunes in California. And Assembly of God Church cared enough about a dirty little kid to go get her, take her to church, and teach her about Jesus. You wonder why I am so passionate about kids and want to pick them up and bring them to the house of God? Because I'm a product of a church van ministry. And I will not allow us not to go pick up a kid because we deem them unworthy.
Amen.
That is so stupid to me.
Amen.
It's so stupid to me. But my mother lived for God all her life. I don't know why that makes me cry every time. So,
Because she was a good mother.
she lived for God all her life. I was saved from that lifestyle of her family because of her lifestyle change.
Amen. That's right.
I was saved out of what I put myself into. But I was saved from the hell she grew up in.
Right.
I never went through that stuff that she grew up in because of her lifestyle change and the way she changed my life. by being my mother. But God saved me out of the stuff I got myself into. Does that make sense? You understand the difference? I was saved from this and out of that. Okay. And so, don't you think there's some people that just deserve a chance to know God like you do?
Yes.
They just deserve a chance to be loved by God like you are. They just deserve the opportunity, even when they fall short, that somebody picks them up that doesn't just step on their face. Don't you think they deserve an opportunity to just, listen, dude, I know you fell down. Get the dirt out of your nose. Let's go. You know, let's go. Let's go. Let's get you up. Let's go. I think the way you treat people like that have fallen. See, I know all of y'all have never fallen because you're at church on Wednesday and you have your halos crooked on your horns. I know you guys are just perfect and nothing has ever gone wrong in your life. You didn't even do anything wrong in the last 6 months. I get that, and I understand that. I'm just with you. Hallelujah. Okay, we're all perfect. Okay, but just say, for example, you did. Do you need Bruce getting in your face and telling you how stupid you are for falling short? I can't believe you. I can't believe you sinned. I can't believe you fell. I can't believe you. Or do you need Bruce to say, hey man, you know what? Here's the deal. Here's a flashlight. Here's a map. Let's go find a way out. Here's a flashlight. Here's a map how to get out of this cave. Let's go take you out of this darkness and then we're going to take you to where you feel better. Don't you think somebody deserves that chance? I do. I do. It doesn't happen when you don't welcome people and mean it. When you don't bless God's people and mean it. When you don't really bless God's people. I have no idea why I'm preaching this tonight. This is what God gave me. You know, the Lord loves you and I'm trying. But listen, don't you think it's really cool when we can just walk this thing together as a family and live life together and serve God together through life? Wouldn't that just be really cool? Instead of picking and choosing who we think's better and who's not better and what they did and who this is and that did. Man, that'd wear me out. I don't know how you guys keep it straight. Who fell, did what, and you keep everyone sin straight. I don't know how you, man, y'all are better than the devil at keeping stuff straight. I don't remember who did what last week. I don't know. But y'all good at it, man. Well, she did this, he did that. Well, you remember when they did this? No. I got life. I have a life to live. I ain't got time to get there.
All right. Amen.
I ain't got time to have my nose in everybody's business. I ain't got time for that mess. I got life. I'm living. You just breathing air. I'm living. I got stuff to do. I got people to bless, things to do. Church, listen to me. I hope I didn't get on too bad. I don't think I did. I wasn't trying to. I'm just trying to let you know that the way you bless God's people, that's the way you're going to be blessed.
That's right.
You don't want to be blessed, don't bless God's people.
That's right.
You want to always struggle in your life? Always be a jerk. You want to be a jerk? Be a jerk. You'll get a jerk blessing. You want to be a blessing? Be a blessing. Love people and love God. Amen. Stand if you would, please. Y'all look like you're bored a minute.